like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out a loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type of night they make.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn's channel, Sweatbox. We back, we live, we active here on the channel. Yes, indeed, you know how we do. Bah, bah, bah. Still dodging those digital jabs, yes. And we active for this episode of Marvel's Loki. Episode 3, entitled Lamentis. This is my spoiler review. And we're going to talk about it. Let's get right into it, man. Where we left off after last week's episode, The Variant, we met Lady Loki, and she had detonated what they called somebody bombed the sacred timeline, and she had created a bunch of alternate timelines to empty out the TVA. And sure enough, that was what we thought she was doing. And so this episode picks up right where we left off in episode 2. It shows her going into the portal, and Loki follows her, and they both end up at the TVA. Okay, and after a small little action scene where she beats up some guards and Loki and her have a cool little thing, the judge chick, and I can't remember her name, I apologize, but the judge lady comes down with a couple guards, and they're about to square off, and then Loki hits the little portal button, and a button opens up on the floor, and him and they slide through the floor into another destination, which is where they were for the rest of the episode. And the plot of this episode was basically Loki put them on this apocalyptic planet, Lamentis, that's about to collide with the moon, or the moon's about to collide with them, and it's going to kill everybody. And now they're trapped on this planet, and their little power device doesn't have enough power. So they're trying to get enough power to power it up to leave before the planet explodes and before everybody gets killed. And they go through a bunch of things. Now this was, and see, this is the thing. Let me pause. Let me put the brakes on everything immediately, because so far with WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now Loki, we've had all great series so far. Very well done. Falcon and Winter Soldier was an awesome series. WandaVision was an awesome series. So far, I'm really liking Loki. But they both, and I didn't know how many episodes Loki was. Loki's only 6 episodes. So every one of these series has had at least one episode. And it's probably only about one. They probably have each had one episode that probably didn't really need to be there, or probably was like a filler episode. Well, this is what this episode was for Loki. Not a bad episode, but not a lot happened. We didn't really get a lot of information. The key points we got in this is that Lady Loki doesn't really consider herself Loki. She calls herself Sylvie. She has we get a little of her backstory. She knew she was adopted, whereas our Loki didn't know he was adopted. She didn't know her mother, whereas Loki knows his mother. And she reveals that all of the people working for the TVA are variants that have had their mind apparently brainwashed to believe that they were created by the timekeepers. We also had the cool scene at the beginning. Now, I do like this. The cool scene at the beginning of Lady Loki, Sylvie, talking with the TVA agent that she kidnapped, and she had put her in a mind thing. That lady was from Earth, so she put her in a thing, making her think, and she ended up getting the information because she put her in a little mind thing. I like that scene. That was dope. That was a really good scene. The things I liked, I liked everything on the planet. I liked the atmosphere, the atmosphere. I liked the setting of the planet as far as the destructive, you know what I'm saying, some of the things that were happening in the background. There's one scene where Loki and Sylvie are walking, and you just see a piece of the moon hit the planet, and all of that was done very well. All of that was done really well. But a lot of the discussions with Loki and Sylvie, while interesting and while entertaining to watch, didn't really move the story forward that much. And there was no Owen Wilson in this, and it showed. It really shows how much Owen Wilson brings to the show, and it really shows the chemistry that Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston have. Because while Owen Wilson and I don't remember her name, please, the one who's playing Sylvie, please forgive me. Great actress, she does a great job too. But the chemistry's not the same with Owen and Tom. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it was just because they weren't given enough information. I just never really established that connection. Like, there's one point when they're walking into the city, she said, "Do we trust each other?" He was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Why? You guys haven't told each other anything. Why do you guys trust each other?" And at this point, I guess I don't know. And there was some cool stuff that happened. I liked the thing with them on the train, but then that ended up not going anywhere because they ended up getting thrown off the train. So I was like, this episode really was like the definition of a filler episode. Not a bad filler. It's definitely this. I've seen some Walking Dead episodes which was bad filler, where I was just like, oh my god, this is absolutely nothing on top of nothing. That wasn't this bad. This was at least entertaining filler because the banter between the two is funny. These are good enough actors where they can make it interesting. The setting was interesting. Some of the graphic shit that happens in the background is really cool. All of that. So that was cool. But at the end of the day, it's not until you get to the end of the journey where you realize this episode didn't really tell us anything. And then the episode ends with them still stuck on the planet because their last means of getting off the planet blows up. So that's where it ends. We literally, nothing was accomplished. So not a bad episode, but not a great episode. And that's why this review is kind of short. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing out some stuff, but nothing serious. Like I said, we learned that all the TVA agents are variants. We learned that Lady Loki didn't know her mom. We learned that she got some information from the guard, but that's about it. The story wasn't really pushed forward that much. So we'll see where we go next episode with this one. It's still not a terrible episode. It's not like I'm going to quit watching the show. It wasn't like that, but just give me a little bit more, especially if we're only doing 6 episodes. Can you guys really afford to have an episode like this if there's only 6 episodes? So anyway, those are my thoughts on episode 3, Lamentis. Yeah. What are your thoughts? What did you think of this episode? Do you agree with me or not? Let me know what you think. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, you know how we do, man. Peace.
I'ma go to the ends with you. I'ma go to the end with you. I'ma go.